I'd like to welcome to the show Rachel and Donna.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Cool. Rachel, what is your job at McIntyre?
I joined McIntyre 6 months and 1 week ago, and I work in the central recruitment team as McIntyre's recruitment administrator. So what that role involves is basically doing the final checks on all candidates who start work with McIntyre, just to make sure that everything is okay before they start.
And what do you do, Donna?
So I have worked with McIntyre for 6.5 years. Currently, I am a recruitment officer working in the central recruitment team, and that involves offering support to adult services, the No Limits team, just with their recruitment. So if they need a few people to recruit for, I will help do their screening, booking interviews, sitting in some interviews, and doing some group interviews, which is quite new, but has worked quite well. And that's in a nutshell, really, what I do.
Well, that's quite a lot, actually. Good.
Works very hard.
Wow, that's a big job, isn't it? All that.
It is, yeah, but it's enjoyable.
Rachel, what is the best part of your job?
So the things that I find the most interesting about my role. So I have to finalize the recruitment checks for all the people that come through for us. So that's things like DBS, references, ID, and things like that. I quite enjoy getting into the specifics of all of that stuff. So part of my role also involves giving quite specialized right to work advice. So I've really enjoyed being able to teach myself a lot about kind of the pre-recruitment standards that we have. Especially considering that at McIntyre we do have quite thorough recruitment checks for the people who start working with us. So I really enjoy kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of that and advising other people with the things that I've learned as well. I find it quite satisfying and rewarding.
Donna, what's your best part of your job?
There's a lot. I think the best part of my job is that contribution to changing people's lives. I think that when people apply for a position with us, when it comes through the recruitment team, when they've been offered a new job, it's really nice and fulfilling that you've played a part in that. Not all the time, but in the projects that I sort of participate in, it's just nice to get that that feeling of you've contributed to them having a new job.
Rachel, what is the biggest challenge in your job?
I think the biggest challenge in my role specifically is because I am dealing with processing everyone who is coming through to start working with us, just the high volume of people sometimes. There are days where there'll be maybe 2, 1, or no people that have had a start date confirmed. There will be days when there are 10. So the day-to-day kind of load of it can be different depending on how many people start. Yeah, I think sometimes when all of that piles up, it can be a bit challenging to get through all the checks in the space of a day.
The most challenging part of my job, I think just trying to find suitable candidates.
All right, next question. What are you most proud of?
Oh, that is an extremely good question. I think in my role, what I am the most proud of is kind of how much I have learned about the recruitment checks McIntyre undertake, the value of those recruitment checks as well, for making sure that every person we put into a position in McIntyre is, first of all, safe to be around all the people that are part of McIntyre, and also that, they'll be, fingers crossed, really good at doing the job and will enjoy it. So I think kind of learning all of that stuff and being able to apply it in the just over 6 months that I've been here is probably the thing that I'm most proud of. I feel like I've definitely learned a lot in my position.
Oh, like Rachel, it's a tricky one because I've been with McIntyre for such a long time, there's so many things. I think I think finally finding a job that I'm in love with. You know, when I joined McIntyre 6.5 years ago, or just over, as a community teaching facilitator for No Limits in Milton Keynes. And I thought at the time I really loved that job. And I did, because I'd done it for about 5.5 years. I then moved into being one of their administrators, and I thought I really loved that job, which I did. But it wasn't until I moved into the recruitment team and doing the job that I'm doing now that actually I think that they were my stepping stones into this role.
Oh, thank you. Right. What job did you do before this one?
So before I came to McIntyre, the job I did immediately before that, I worked at the IKEA in Milton Keynes. So I worked in the children's and bedrooms department as a sales co-worker.
Oh, right.
So I was maintaining all the displays, you know, providing sales advice. I built the furniture that we put on display, for instance. So that was the job I did immediately before McIntyre. And before that, I actually worked in schools. So I've worked in both secondary and primary schools as a support staff member, which were, you know, really, really enjoyable. And I really enjoyed working with the students that I worked with. It's a nice job as well because, well, this kind of has its benefits and drawbacks. But sometimes I do still go out and my old students see me and they're like, "Oh, Miss Frank, hi," and it's really sweet.
What do you do to relax?
I love watching TV.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah.
You bet your match.
Yeah, I love watching TV. It is a bit of my go-to. Yeah, the TV's always on in my house, even if I'm doing cleaning and stuff like that. It's always on just for a bit of background noise. I love spending time with my family, my husband and my son. So yeah, just that. I'm quite humble. That's we do go out, we do leave the house, but yeah, I do like being. I'm a bit of a home bird. I like being at home. And it's nice because they like being here as well, which is also nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Right. Rachel, what is your favourite TV show?
So Donna and I were actually talking about this earlier, and we were reading through the questions. And I was just thinking back over everything I've watched. Probably the most fun TV program I've ever seen is Merlin, which was on BBC probably about 10 years ago now. But it's a really, really good show. I love it.
What is your favourite music?
I like anything. I'm quite a bit of a mixed bag, really, because I like sort of anything from chart music to indie rock. I like pop music, some rap music.
One of my favorite bands of all time actually is a band called Oasis. So my mum is from Manchester, so we basically grew up with any and every Oasis album on in the car. So I'd say I'm really into them at the minute, and I kind of always have been. So they'd be my all-time favorite band.
So Donna, what's your biggest dream?
I like a holiday, so I think to be able to visit, I think, as many countries as possible before I die.
Rachel, what is your biggest dream?
So there is a whenever I go on holiday, there's a person I take my rabbits to. So he looks after them for the time that I'm gone. And I always thought that would just be an amazing job, being able to surround yourself with animals and have that be your main source of income. Yeah, especially rabbits. So quite like them, in case you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always thought that having a job like that and, you know, down the line and just being able to make a living that way would be really cool, if for no other reason than just being able to surround myself with loads of rabbits.
I'm just sitting out with rabbits.
Exactly, just like 20 on my lap, just chilling out, loving life.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Rachel and Donna, for coming on to the Sui-Ling show.
Oh, thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent.